Greetings! We're just here enjoying a beautiful spring afternoon in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountain range in eastern California along the North Fork of the American River to take in a little bit of interesting history and beautiful scenery. We're here at this proposed site of the Auburn Dam, and as you can see, they blasted that hillside away and blasted the heck out of this hillside, and so they could put a nearly 700-foot tall concrete arch dam right here. And obviously there's no dam, and there's a reason for that. Let's hop across some of these rocks here, and we'll talk about it a little bit. And back in the 60s, they were tired of the flooding and so forth, and wanted to slow down that river, save some water in drought-prone California, and do some flood control, and create opportunities for recreation, make a little hydropower. But just north of us is a town called Oroville, and their dam was threatened by an earthquake back in the 60s. Around 68 was when they were trying to build this thing here, and they went, oh, maybe we shouldn't, because if an earthquake hit this, it would be catastrophic for everything downstream, including the city of Sacramento, the capital of the entire state. And it probably would be pretty bad. And so they held off construction and held off construction and held off construction, and eventually just gave up on it, because even in the 80s, they still were like, I don't think so. And in the 90s and even in the 2000s, they were like, yeah, this isn't going to work. They hadn't done enough actual work on it, so no progress. They kind of went, yeah, you can't keep this in limbo forever, so we're denying the project. And so the Auburn Dam died. That doesn't mean it's never going to be here. Who knows? Maybe in 20 years they'll decide otherwise. But right now, the river runs free, and I love that. Dams, yeah, they have their place and their purpose, but we know that they are bad for rivers. They just are in general. There's no getting around that. They're bad for salmon. They're bad for fish. They're bad for everything. The river should run free. That's the best way. And I love seeing the North Fork here running free. The water's cold. It's early April, and so the water is cold. It's snow melt. And someone actually did go in just a few weeks ago, maybe, I don't know, a few hours upstream of here, and they did not come back out. So you definitely want to be careful with these waters. They look calm and placid, like the beautiful pool you could swim in, but it's very cold, and it will shock you if you go in fully. So if you jump in, you're going to go, whoa! And you might do that gasp reflex and inhale a bunch of water and go down. So be careful. Be very careful. But it's a beautiful little spot here, this little bar that I found coming down a gravel road. There were too many people on the other bar I was going to, called Oregon Bar. Kind of ironic. I come from Oregon into California and find Oregon. But there were too many people today, being a Saturday, and I thought I'd see what this is all about. And there's hardly anybody here. And I went, oh, this is perfect. Nice and quiet. It's green and lovely. It's springtime. Highly recommend. Springtime in the Sierra Nevada foothills is stunning. There's wildflowers galore, the oak trees, the grasses. It's lovely. There's butterflies, and just everything's so beautiful. And a little breezy here coming up the canyon. That's coming up canyon. Woo! And it's a nice, comfortable breeze. But there's beautiful rocks around. There's quarries nearby. All sorts of things. Many trails. I've been watching people hiking around on the hillside up here, because you can hike around there. You can hike everywhere around here. And there was even a running event going on in this particular area. That's part of the reason that I chose this side, because there weren't that many people running this direction, so I didn't mind it so much. Up there, you can actually see slabs of concrete still clinging to all the rock that they laid. That's actually former dam construction there. You can still see those pieces of history, as well as, for example, the huge amount of blasting they did. And here we are at that concrete up here above the parking area. You can see it down there. We were just there. And the concrete stretches all across here, and there's other remnants, like these bolts bolted in to put chain link over it, help rock from falling. And it's very fascinating rock. I've never seen it. And this isn't the most interesting thing that's left from the dam or the big cut just above us. There's something even more amazing that they left. Let's hike up here, up this very steep hillside, and take a look. Some fascinating geology. I love the way this looks. And this is literally vertical stuff. This was laid flat horizontally, and now look at the beautiful colors. That's some really neat stuff. I don't know geology as well as I should. I know a little bit about geology, enough to be dangerous, so I do know that this definitely didn't form vertically like this. This had to have been laid down and then folded up as the mountains were built many millions of years ago. But this is neat. There's this whole rusty, colorful sort of trackway, and there's little knife ridges of rock sticking up. I want to be a little careful, don't want to fall on it, but this is so pretty. I love that. Really neat. Well, let's hike up this steep hillside. There's some more. All this concretion is man-made. And then we get to the impressive part. This massive slot that they carved in. Look at that. And it goes this whole huge hillside, or whole area here. That's all concreted. This is all concrete. And somebody walked in it before it was dry. There's a bunch of the exact same boot print, and what looks like maybe wheelbarrow tracks or something. And those footprints everywhere. But we can go down here and take a look in this, whatever this was going to be, this huge chute now. See a metal pipe coming out of it there, and obviously lots of water coming down, otherwise those trees wouldn't all be there. A lot of greenery. Very pretty. Look at the tire tracks in the concrete. It's interesting. Here's some water. I'm a fan of water. And then, convenient gap in the fence, and we're looking down it. And so you can see they've chain linked all that there and all across this to help keep it from falling. This whole thing is chain linked. It looks like spider webs, like cobwebs. But this whole huge chute goes down, and you can see they carved this slot right through. And you go, whoa, I wonder what this was. Was this going to be one of the wings of the dam all the way up here? Like it was going to curve around this bluff? But let's go down here and maybe make a loop up around, and hopefully the bike will still be there. And of course there's graffiti. And we're not going to look at it. Let's just go down here real quick. Yep, there's water coming down. Real quick little hop down. And you definitely want to be real careful in this area because there are rattlesnakes. I keep hearing horror stories of people getting bitten, hiking across all these hills. Don't go over there. There's rattlesnakes everywhere. Okay. I mean, this is quite the thing. Ooh. Let's see here. This looks good enough. Oh yeah. We're right on the edge. We look right down, all the way down. But so now you can kind of see there's the bottom of it. There's a fence down there too. And sort of a gully little thing there. Interesting. And it goes all the way the heck up there. That's incredible. That's a lot of rock that they removed. Can you imagine how much work this took and how much money this cost just to do this alone? All for nothing. No dam. And there's probably never going to be one. And because of that, we get to enjoy a beautiful river canyon full of greenery instead of just a big lake. Somebody wanted to make a lot of money with lakeshore property and recreation, but they lost out on that. Oh, I saw a shadow. We're getting circled by a turkey vulture. Probably right in the thermals. I can see their shadows. There he is. Or she, it. Wow, this is very impressive. But the sights you see when you come out to places like this, so I definitely recommend getting out into it. Well, let's get back down. And there's trails all over the place. There's actually little chain link fences running along the various tiers, and you can hike along there. You can hike on this side. There's a million places. And of course, Auburn designating itself the endurance capital of the world. There's plenty of adventure. The Western States race comes through here. It's just a nexus of all kinds of cool stuff. So definitely, I appreciate coming to places like this and setting foot on where history was happening or happened. It's just thrilling to me to set foot in these places and stand right there. Like there would be a massive dam, just a huge wall of concrete there, 700 feet high. Like, wow, that'd be incredible. It's definitely better now. But it's not a bad place to come and visit. And again, there's a million recreation options out here. So if you're going to come out here, there's more. You're spoiled for choice. And especially with the weather so beautiful. It's been just gorgeous all day. Absolutely highly recommended. Definitely a great area. And so I got my little bicycle on the fence there, and I got a bit of a climb back out of the canyon here, a good 800 feet of elevation to gain on my bicycle, and part of it's on gravel, so I better get it pedaling. But I definitely want to thank you so much for joining me here at the proposed site of the Auburn Dam here on the North Fork of the American River to take in this interesting little slice of California history, the beautiful nature, and as always, ants.